In this section, we'll be talking about contract deployment. Deploying your contract involves more than just pushing code to a network. One critical aspect of deployment is governance, which ensures that your contract operates securely and efficiently within the broader ecosystem. Governance involves setting rules and mechanisms that control how your contract can be upgraded, managed, and interacted with. Governance plays a crucial role in maintaining the integrity and security of your contract. It allows you to establish rules for upgrading your contract, managing permissions, and handling disputes. Good governance ensures that your contract remains robust and trustworthy even as it evolves. Implementing governance involves several key steps. Start by defining governance structure. Decide who has the authority to make decisions and what those decisions can entail. From there, set up voting mechanisms. Establish how votes are cast and counted to make governance decisions. From there, you can create governance contracts. Write contracts that enforce the rules and mechanisms that you have defined. And finally, you can deploy and test governance. Deploy your governance contracts to a test net and thoroughly test them to ensure they work as intended. Now let's take a look at an example of how to define a basic governance structure. In this example, we'll create a contract that allows a group of stakeholders to vote on contract upgrades. Take a moment to review this code on your own before continuing. In this example, we define a simple governance structure where stakeholders can be added or removed, proposals for upgrades can be made, and stakeholders can vote on these proposals. A proposal is executed if more than half of the stakeholders approve it. To ensure effective governance, consider these best practices. First, transparent processes. Make governance processes transparent to all stakeholders to help build trust. Next is inclusivity. Ensure that all relevant parties have a say in the governance decisions you're making. Next is flexibility. Design governance mechanisms that can adapt to changing circumstances and needs. And finally is security. Implement strong security measures to protect the governance processes from manipulation and attacks. Let's take a look at a real-world scenario where governance is used to manage contract upgrades. This example demonstrates how to propose an upgrade and execute it based on stakeholder votes. In this example, we propose a new contract upgrade and allow stakeholders to vote on it. If the proposal receives enough votes, it is executed and the contract is upgraded. In summary, governance is a vital part of contract deployment, ensuring that your contract can be managed and upgraded securely and efficiently. By defining a clear governance structure, setting up voting mechanisms, and following best practices, you can ensure that your contract remains robust and trustworthy. Next, we'll discuss the process of deploying your contract to a test net, which is a crucial step before going live on the main net. Deploying your contract to a test net is a crucial step in the development process. It allows you to test your contract in a live environment without the risks associated with deploying directly to the mainnet. In this section, we'll cover the steps for deployment, the importance of testing on a test net, a deployment checklist, and a practical example. Deploying a contract involves several key steps. Here's a detailed process you can follow. Step 1, prepare your contract. Ensure that your contract code is finalized and thoroughly tested. Step 2, set up your testnet environment. Configure your development environment to connect to the testnet. Step 3, deploy your contract. Use deployment scripts or tools to deploy your contract to the testnet. And finally, verify deployment. Confirm that the contract is deployed correctly and functioning as expected. Testing on a testnet is important because it provides a realistic environment where you can identify and fix issues before going live on the mainnet. It allows you to validate contract logic and interactions, ensure performance and scalability, test with real-world data and scenarios, and identify any outstanding security vulnerabilities. Before deploying your contract, ensure you've covered the following items. Conduct a thorough code review of your contract code. Ensure all unit and integration tests have passed. Perform a detailed security audit to identify potential vulnerabilities. Deploy to a testnet to verify functionality. Prepare comprehensive documentation for users and developers. And finally, ensure that you have a backup and roll-up plan in case of issues. In summary, deploying your contract to a testnet is a critical step that allows you to test and verify your contract in a realistic environment. By following the deployment steps, using the checklist, and conducting thorough testing, you can ensure a smooth and successful deployment. Now that we've reached the end of the third module, let's take a moment to recap the key points we've covered and discuss the next steps. Throughout this module, we have covered several important topics. In our section on making your DApp real, we discussed the use of collections like maps and sets, the importance of brand names and denominations, and how to call other contracts. In our section on long-lived upgradable objects, we explored how to define new durable classes, manage state with baggage, and handle upgrades. In our section on application components, we reviewed vStorage and the UI kit, both essential components for building great dApps. In section 4, we covered common techniques and tools for testing and debugging your contracts. And in this final section, we detailed the process of deploying your contract, including using governance and deploying to testnet. These topics provide a comprehensive foundation for developing and deploying Agoric dApps. By understanding and applying these principles, you can create robust, secure, and efficient smart contracts. Here are some suggested actions you can take following this module. You can visit the Agoric documentation site to review the concepts that we've covered and explore additional resources. You can implement the examples provided in this session and experiment with creating your own smart contracts. You can engage with the Agoric community through forums, Discord, and other channels to share your experiences and learn from others. And finally, you can stay updated with the latest developments in Agoric by following our blogs, attending webinars, and participating in upcoming workshops and hackathons. By taking these steps, you can deepen your understanding and proficiency in Agoric smart contract development. In the next module, we'll be taking a look at the new orchestration API from Agoric.